Good morning, everyone. Almost afternoon. It's Wednesday, October 25th. I want to welcome everyone to our October District 204 webinar. My name is Brian Waterman. I'm very proud to serve as a superintendent here at LT District 204. And we've had a very positive first quarter that actually ended last Friday. So we're already, already into week one of our second quarter. So I'm excited to host our second webinar of the year. This is the October version. And again, really the goal is to offer a different format than that traditional email to share some of the information, some reminders, and some exciting news that's happening here at LT. We obviously have so much happening on a regular basis and so much to share. So as always, if you're joining live, feel free to drop a question in the chat, and we'll do our best to answer those today. And then, of course, if you're watching the recording, you can always just simply email me at bwaterman@lths.net if you ever have questions, concerns, or thoughts about LT. So please take advantage of that. So let's jump right in. I just have a few updates to share today for October. So probably just take a few minutes, but we have a few things I want to cover. I always try to start with LTCAC. This is such an amazing mechanism that we use to get input from our community. So we're constantly recruiting members to our LTCAC. We're actually getting ready for our second LT Community Advisory Council meeting of the school year, and that's going to happen next week on Wednesday night, November 1st. Our topic for next Wednesday is associate school collaboration. So we're interested in not only sharing, but getting feedback on all the different ways that we connect with our feeder schools. That includes from the district level, from the building level, and all the different ways that we help kind of ease that transition for our middle schoolers coming to high school. And we're also looking for feedback. So the QR code on your screen will take you to our LTCAC website. If you're interested, you can actually look at our September 13th meeting. The topic of that meeting was technology at LT. So we were able to share a lot about the student experience related to technology at LT. We got a little bit into the future of education as it relates to AI. And then we also talked about online resources versus textbook resources and some of the discussions that we're having internally here at LT around that topic. So feel free to look at minutes. The resources are all there about September 13th. But more than anything, if you're interested in joining LTCAC, please reach out to us. We'd love to have more members on our Community Advisory Council. I want to celebrate a lot of things that have been happening here at LT. I'm going to start with really the entire LT community. We received the Business Partner of the Year award from Youth Outlook Services. Youth Outlook really serves as an important partner in our ongoing efforts to create an inclusive school community, and really has provided a lot of professional development, student support, curriculum development as we work to specifically support our LGBTQ+ students and community. We know that we have so much work to do, but we're really proud of this journey we've been on, the work that's happening, and we're thankful for Youth Outlook and their support along our journey. We also shared this last month, and this is information that's available on our website as well. But as I mentioned before, we are kicked off a community conversations series this year, and I want to continue to highlight that series. Our next event coming up here in a few weeks is on November 15th. That's 6 o'clock to 7:30 in our South Campus Library. And that will actually include a conversation on supporting our LGBTQ+ youth. So we invite our community to come out for that event as well. Something else that LT is celebrating, but also bringing awareness to, is this is Red Ribbon Week here at LT and in many schools across our country. We celebrate Red Ribbon Week. It's part of the National Red Ribbon Campaign, which is sponsored by the National Family Partnership. The mission of NFP is to lead and support our nation's families and communities in nurturing the full potential of healthy and drug-free youth, really all about making positive decisions. And so throughout this week, and even in next week, we're going to be promoting drug awareness by celebrating Red Ribbon Week. The theme for this year, 2023, is Be Kind to Your Mind, Live Drug-Free. And so the goal of the week overall is to simply raise awareness about Red Ribbon Week and the harmful effects of drugs and illegal substances, and really focus on those healthy choices. And we really hope more than anything that this sparks conversations among parents and students in the home. which is the most effective way. Some other celebrations we have going on. I want to congratulate 46 Lyons Township High School music students who were selected to audition in the IMEA, that's the Illinois Music Educator Association, District 1, either band, choir, orchestra, jazz band, or jazz choir. Students are selected through a pretty highly competitive audition process. Over 2,000 students auditioned from over 80 high schools in the Chicago area. Specifically in the west and south suburbs. Selected students have the ability to spend a day working with guest conductors in a large ensemble format, which culminates in some festival performances. So this is just the first step in ultimately being selected as an all-state musician, which comes down to finding the finest musicians throughout the state of Illinois. And then those students get to participate in all-state ensembles at the State Music Convention in January. So this is obviously an impressive achievement at this step, and we're incredibly proud of our students, but also our fine arts faculty for the work that they do to support our music students as well. Another really cool celebration that happens in October is highlighting the LT students who achieve National Merit Scholarship semifinalist recognition. We have 9 students here at LT that have been named as National Merit semifinalists. This starts with more than 1.5 million students nationwide who enter the program as juniors by simply taking the preliminary SAT National Merit Scholarship qualifying test. And so high scores were designated as semifinalists, which really represents less than 1% of the state's graduating class. So in total, just over 16,000 students nationwide are qualified for this. So I want to specifically congratulate our students here at LT. That's Miriam Buterman, Mark DeMonte, Callie Hendricks, Ashlyn Kwong, Ella Macias, Greta Sandman, Abigail Saunders, Joseph Stetler, and Nicholas Dreyer. So congratulations to those students for achieving National Merit semifinalist recognition. So I also want to share that recently, actually about a week and a half ago, the Board of Education at LT approved next year's school calendar. Specifically, I want to thank our community for all the input that you provided throughout this process, which started back in late August, early September. But we now have an officially approved calendar for next school year. I know we're just now starting Q2 of this year, but we're already thinking about the future. And so we know that our families and community plan around a lot of the events that happen here at LT. So again, you can check the QR code on the screen, and that will take you to next year's school calendar. So you can check out the when we start, when we end, all the breaks and holidays throughout the year, which we know is really important to our family. So check that out when you have a chance. Some other upcoming dates or upcoming reminders. So actually today and tomorrow, LT is hosting parent-teacher conferences. So I want to thank all of our parents who have signed up for a time slot. Those will happen this evening, but then also they will happen tomorrow afternoon and evening on Thursday. And with that, we will have an early dismissal schedule for our students on Thursday, October 26th, and then a non-attendance day on Friday, October 27th as a part of that. Looking ahead to next week, the Illinois School Report Card will become available on Monday, October 30th. The Illinois School Report Card serves as our state's official source for information regarding all public schools here in Illinois. And the latest version of the Illinois School Report Card will be available on Monday, October 30th. This involves really reporting on each school's summative designation, which is that overall score based on a school's data for all of the accountability indicators that the state provides, as well as for individual student groups. In addition, the Illinois State Board of Education Equity Journey Continuum will also be available on October 30th. So the Equity Journey Continuum, it's an informational tool for school districts to track their progress toward closing gaps in student achievement, in opportunities, and in student supports as well. And so through the lens of equity, the Equity Journey Continuum tool will analyze data points that are already collected and reported on to ISB, but then places schools on a continuum to illustrate the district's current progress, which can range from large gaps to minimal gaps. in 3 separate areas. Those 3 areas are student learning, learning conditions, and elevating educators. So the data used in this year's Equity Journey Continuum is taken from the 21-22 school year, so it is a couple of years old. And we certainly as a district look forward to sharing more information about this in the next few weeks. The information will be publicly available on Monday. We will then report that data as well as our annual assessment report on November 6th with our Board of Education. And then I look forward to sharing a few more details and some focus areas as well during the November webinar, which will be coming up on November 15th. So that's also coming quickly. Couple other reminders that are coming. LT is proud to celebrate not only our history of service in the military, but also our community's history of military service. And so we host 2 Veterans Day assemblies on November 10th. We have one at South Campus in the morning. We also have one in the afternoon at North Campus. And we strongly encourage our community to remind all the veterans in our community we want to see them at that assembly. So we certainly send out invitations and try to spread awareness to get as many veterans in attendance so that we can honor them appropriately. It's always a great celebration of their service, but also we have some student performances included in that as well. So we love that as a community event and can't wait to host those on November 10th. And then finally on November 13th, this kind of falls under that same theme of we're already thinking about next year. The class of 2028 we will host a kickoff event for the class of 2028. And Dr. Tyrell and Mr. Gardner at South Campus, Mr. Eater as well, work really hard to really create an enthusiastic experience for our current 8th graders and get them excited about the LT experience as early and as often as possible. So that process all starts on Monday, November 13th with our class of 2028 kickoff. So those are just some real quick updates that we have going on here at LT. I want to check to see if there's any questions in the chat real quick before we close for another month. Give everyone 1 second here. Okay, so it doesn't look like there's any questions, but I want to thank everyone for joining the October District 204 webinar and remind everyone that our next webinar will be held on Wednesday, November 15th, same time, 11:30 a.m. on that Wednesday. I look forward to sharing some information around our annual assessment data. That will include our advanced placement data, also our standardized assessment data, SAT, access testing, and our Illinois School Report Card and Equity Journey Continuum data as well. And by that point, we'll be close to Thanksgiving. So again, I want to thank everyone for joining today's webinar. Let's have a great week and a great month, and go LT.